probably seen the Wren Dive watch all over Instagram as of late. I mean, you're killing it at Winder recently. But this Wren Diver 38 Crimson Time+Tide Studio Edition is definitely one you haven't seen yet. I've seen it though, because I was just in Aruba for a week wearing it, and I'm gonna tell Craig exactly what I think of this new watch. So, Craig, real quick, why did you start Wren?
Well, I have been blogging and Instagramming and doing all this about watches for 10 years. I was a lawyer for a long period of time, and I felt like I had kind of reviewing watches, every week, every month, had kind of like an idea of what collectors wanted in their watches, and specifically where kind of to go a little bit old and where to kind of pare things down and what features they wanted. So I kind of went out and designed what I thought was like a very collector, enthusiast friendly watch that kind of hit all the points. And that's what I started with the first Diver 1 Aqua, and kind of continued to expand out from there. I didn't know how it was going to go. If the first watch didn't go very well, there would have never been a second or third or fourth watch, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And, now we're designing a new collection, and I mean, we're in retail. I never even expected to ever be in retail.
I'm so glad that we could come together, because to be clear, guys, Craig is not just, a guy I work with or run into press events. He's a good friend of mine. And again, for those of you that don't know, Craig founded Wrist Enthusiast. He's not just in the business of selling watches. He writes about watches. So you have both the collector eye, the journalist eye, and of course the retail eye for picking stuff. But okay, so we've had Wren Divers in 38, in 41.
41 in steel and in titanium now, yes.
Okay, so like give me some of the highlight models real quick. So there's like Seafoam, I know is a big seller for you.
Yeah, so our initial watch was the Diver 1 Aqua, which, I think really put us on the map. Teddy, Baldassar, Kevin O'Leary did a video where they ranked and we came in second, and it was kind of uphill or straight up from there.
You've got to admit, this Wren thing is just nuts. It's beautiful what he did there.
But, over the past year, it wasn't even the Aqua that were our biggest seller. It was the Seafoam, which was a 38 millimeter diver, ultra thin, which is kind of what this is based off of.
Yeah.
And also our titanium Snow, which was kind of a recreation of our steel Snow, which was a really popular white to blue gradient, and something that we wanted to give more people a chance to own. So those kind of have been the highlights.
So we have all these color variations of your dive watch, and then we arrive at the Crimson.
Because I wanted to do something with you guys, and I wanted to really build this partnership, because I see the studio as really instrumental in the growth of Wren, and having like a physical space where people can come and see.
But I have to ask myself here, were you inspired by my red sunglasses, or did you just know that Kevin O'Leary loves the color red and that's why he created the watch?
And yes, Kevin, we're already working on a red strap for you.
I'd like to think
it was definitely your sunglasses.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like I just every time I look into your eyes, I was like, light bulb off, Crimson watch. But I don't know. There's not that many like really like deep red watches, and whether it's on this red strap, which is a little bold, or a black strap, or on the bracelet, I just think it's like a really nice, rich color. And, I try and make all my watches, they're, divers with good specs. These ones are really thin, but where you get that differentiation is on like the dial colors.
Yeah, we've been skirting around it now, but you've said the word specs twice. Let's dig into the specs.
Okay.
So 38 millimeter case. What's our thickness?
10.7 millimeters thick, but under 10 without the crystal. It has a dome crystal or box.
But the crystal is not, it's a very subtle dome.
Yeah.
It's not like overwhelming. It doesn't come too high up. And then we've got red ceramic insert for the bezel.
Red ceramic insert.
Radiant red dial.
Swiss Super-LumiNova X1 grade, so the highest grade of Swiss Super-LumiNova.
In both the insert and on the indices.
Exactly. ETA 2892 movement. So that allowed us to make it as thin as possible.
And the 2892, it's chronometer certified or not?
It's not chronometer certified, but we do regulate them to within COSC certification once they get here into the United States.
So that's the dial, the case, the bezel, bracelet.
Okay, so a flat link bracelet with micro adjust, really a diver's extension. So it gives you a lot of extra play.
Yeah.
I had to do screws because I hate push pins, so none of my watches will ever have push pins in them to make it really easy to size. And then you get like, I'm wearing it on a red FKM rubber strap that comes with the watch, but you could get it on red or black. I just think the red's like fun because where else can you have a red watch?
Yeah.
And we have a skeletonized rotor with our namesake Wren on it. So just like the little touches. I felt like, adding every little touch, to make this watch the best it could be.
I largely wore it on the bracelet when I went in the water and like when I was going out to dinner. I think my favorite look is the watch on the bracelet. From a sizing perspective, I didn't really need to use the micro adjust. Maybe there's one or two moments where my wrist swole and I went out a little bit. But the thing that, and you and I have talked about this before, what I will note about the bracelet is you have a bit of an effective lug to lug.
Yeah.
But the shape of it, even though it protrudes out, it might look on a smaller wrist like mine, like you might at first think, oh, it's a little too big. But look in a mirror. I mean, you guys can see now my wrist, like it actually cambers around perfectly. Yeah. And when your wrist swells in the sun, because there are these gaps, there was no pressure on my wristband. So it was really comfortable the whole time.
Right.
Tennis, that's when I switched to a rubber strap, because ultimately, while this is like the right size, if I were to start swinging really hard, and I'd like to think that I have like an 140 mile per hour serve,
minus 60,
the watch would start to move. Whereas with the rubber strap, if I'm going to go a little bit tighter, it's more comfortable that way. In terms of accuracy, I was keeping track.
Okay. Oh.
So I don't particularly love when a watch loses time. That being said, I was only losing 2 seconds a day.
Okay.
So this is like Rolex level accuracy that I experienced.
Good.
Because what I had done is I set the time a minute in advance, and I tracked every day, like, okay, how far ahead am I?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much by the end of the trip.
True collector here.
Yeah, no. Listen, he's my friend, but I give it to him straight. So.
And he's doing this manually, not like on a machine or anything.
No, I was keeping track. But yeah, no, so it was keeping great time. The thing that I really noticed about, when you're in the water and you're like really under the sun, if you have like a black dial, you can have this risk of like, you're just looking in a mirror. Yeah. Like you're just seeing yourself in the crystal. Yeah. So what I like about the red is it's not so bright and bold with that gradient. When I looked at it, it's very legible with the contrast of the white indices against the red, particularly as it's blackening towards the outer edge. Yeah. But I didn't have that where I'm staring into the crystal in the sun and seeing myself. I'm seeing the time.
Seeing the time.
So I do really appreciate that. I particularly wore it when I was playing tennis on the red strap. I have noticed the red, it's not an exact color.
Not an exact color match.
Yeah. So some of you might, if that's like a sticking point for you where you want it to be like 100% exact, black rubber strap is probably the way to go. That being said, I prefer it between the two straps on the red.
Red is nice. It's different. Yeah. But black rubber strap is really nice too. And you have date and no date options. I think we have like half of each. So I think you have the date.
Yeah, I have the date.
I have no date.
That does look good.
Right?
I mean, you guys let us know in the comments. What would you prefer? No date or with a date? The date, you've got it in white. So some people might go like, oh, it's not color matching the dial. But at the same time,
it's color matched to the
indices. Yeah, it just looks like an index.
Yeah, it's because it's kind of like where the index is. You can either color match it to the dial or the index. And I was like, it's close to. And also with like fumé-esque or gradient dials, it's hard to color match because that's where the gradient is starting. Yeah. And then if you color put it the red and it's not gradiented, people are gonna. Like, well,
as you can tell, he hasn't really thought about any of these details.
Not at all.
No. And I don't even think we said this, but 200 meters water resistant with a screw down crown. So like I'd never had any concern that the watch was going to fail in the water. And yeah, I just overall like 10 out of 10 wear experience. And the thing that I always keep in mind is like we can nitpick and go like, what about the finishing level and this and that? But the pricing on this watch is
$15.95.
So for $15.95, interchangeable bracelet and rubber strap included, a movement that, from my experience, was running not just within COSC but like superlative. A ceramic insert that's not even just like your run-of-the-mill black insert; it's a red insert. And everybody talking about like, is the Pepsi going to be discontinued? They can't get red right, which like I think that's a load of whatever. But vibrant red. Ceramic bezel.
Yeah, it was really tough for us to get.
Yeah. For me, and not just because he's my buddy, it's an unimpeachable value proposition in my mind.
I think I'm one of the thinnest Swiss-made automatic divers on the market.
You said 10.7?
10.7, but you take away the crystal under 10.
Yeah.
So
if you're like me, where you wear it more cinched to the wrist a little bit, I mean, not like too tight, but it really sits low. And I definitely noticed that when I was like going out. Like I like that thinness if you're going to wear it as we normally do beyond the beach. You know, like this is something that no issue goes under a cuff.
Oh yeah, no
if you were so inclined. I don't think I went to a single restaurant where the waiter didn't ask me about the watch.
Really?
I showed, I was like
to
pulling out my phone, showing the link. So look, guys, in the comments, let me know your thoughts on our new studio edition, my buddy Craig, Wren. And if the Crimson is not your favorite configuration, what are some of the other Wren Divers watches that you really love? And if you love them, you know where to find them. They're right here in the Time and Tide New York City Discovery Studio, 460 Broome Street. So come visit us. It's the only way you're going to get this guy. And
there's only, I think, 30 to start. So we'll probably do more runs in the future, but
yeah, so not a limited edition.
Not a limited edition. First 100 will be numbered, but we have a small batch in the first run, you know, so.
Look, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for all the latest watch news, reviews, and content. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.